known in this nascent field of synthetic biology. The reason that the National Science Foundation is funding SynBurk, though, is not to sort of have this loose affiliation of these separate principal investigators at different campuses, but rather, again, to create something that's more than the sum of its parts, to create something that couldn't be done by funding separate investigators at separate campuses. And I do think that the principal investigators involved are very charged by working with one another and by the synergy that it's created. There's a lot of challenges in all of this. We have MIT, we have UC Berkeley, we have UC San Francisco, which is yet another kind of culture, although it's part of the UC system. It's very, very different from UC Berkeley. And we have Harvard, and we have Prairie View A&M University. So we have really different cultures to merge, and really different, we have time zones to straddle, we have competing agendas. We have very little money for what really would make a major effort like this. Very little money, relatively speaking, to do what we're trying to do. It's an ambitious undertaking. But I think I see us succeeding every year as we progress, and creating lots of dialogue around just the basics. What is a part? Why do we work in this hierarchy that we do with parts, devices, and chassis? What does it mean? Is it a good structure? Is it not? What are our end goals? How will we accomplish those? How do investigators work together? Where is it valuable for them to work separately? SynBurk is not even in its adolescence. It's a toddler, and we're definitely figuring things out. As administrators, as an administrator within SynBurk, we're trying to figure out how to. I think our job, even my job as an education in education, is to enable the investigators to collaborate easier, communicate more easily, and do the best work they can. We're really the conduits, we're really the helpers. And in terms of education, I see it the same way. I don't create the educational programs. The education is delivered absolutely by those who are doing the researchers at all levels, graduate students, postdocs, faculty members, even undergraduates. But so my role is making the system hum, so it can just be as transparent, as invisible to them as possible. When Clem called me with the idea of doing the high school biotech program, my job was to admit the students, to make sure they all were legally able to work in the lab, to make sure that if they had personal issues, they were dealt with, to communicate with the families, to do everything I could, to make sure that when the students were well selected as a group to come in and participate in this program, and then to make sure that once it all started, that everything was just there when it needed to be there. And so that's what. The question was, what is SynBurk? So it's this loose affiliation, but held together by this glue of this, hopefully this administrative staff that will facilitate all of this communication and all of these programs to happen in as seamless a way as possible, to create that synergy and allow that to develop in all ways, with the industry program, with the research program, with the education program, that it all, and all of those programs should be working together. Our industry program should be more and more merged with our education program, and we're working on that. It's a long way off from happening, but But all of those threads should be coming together if we do our jobs well.
And so as the educational administrator of Sinberg, you're dealing with the other academic institutions as well.
Yes.
Would you be hopeful of organizing similar projects like IGEM in places?
I don't think I mean, we actually do have a program that we fund at MIT. It's called the SEED Academy, stands for Saturday Engineering Enrichment and Discovery Academy, and it's a high school program, but it's an existing program that is happening at MIT in engineering, in all disciplines of engineering. And what we did was we facilitated a Sinberg graduate student to develop a synthetic biology curriculum for this academy. So the amount of money, I am a staff of one in education. There's no way that we can do everything from the ground up, nor should we. We're working at premier institutions that have fabulous resources and fabulous programs. Our charge is how to use our small amount of money and small amount of staffing to build something new or different, or to add on this synthetic biology component. So yes, I mean, we've joined forces with Natalie Kuldell. She's signed on to become an investigator with Sinberg in the last year. And one of the reasons that her addition is so exciting is because she has her own interests. She's very interested in developing new learning tools of all sorts, and she's working on this BioBuilder website, which is it's this very cool animation lots of animation, and it's a website that's intended for high school students, undergraduates, the general public, to educate them about synthetic biology. So what a great marriage. Here's Sinberg with all the expertise and principal investigators that we have to offer, and Natalie Kuldell at MIT, who is doing this who is going to go off and do this anyway. But we can enable that, and we can help that. And I think the dialogue that she can have with students and faculty within Sinberg makes her work better. So whether it's at Berkeley or whether it's at MIT, we're not going to be able to create. I mean, the biotech program is really. We're not going to do a lot of those. Those are huge. The high school biotech program that we were just talking about in the Kiesling lab directed by Clem Fortman and James Carruthers is what I'm referring to, with the 6 kids in the summer. That would be a very unusual enterprise for us to take on. And eventually my guess is that we'll pull in other partners to help us with that program. The Joint Bioenergy Institute, JBay, is a I mean, they were in fact a partner, but to become more engaged as a partner, I would see that happening. So that, in other words, we don't have the funding or the staffing to do everything from the ground up, and it's not important that we do. What's important is that we find the best possible partners and figure out the best possible niche, the best possible piece of that work that we can bite off and accomplish and add it out to the world. Why create our own websites? Why create our own distribution systems? If there's a website that exists to which we can add a module on synthetic biology, which has already is out there and teachers know about it and students know about it, why would we want to create our own? We might want to link from our site. We might want to add to the distribution of that in some new ways among the growing synthetic biology community, but why create something from the ground up? I don't think it's the best use of taxpayer money, frankly, and we don't have enough money in any case. So I think that's one of my big parts of my job, is finding, and I love it so much. I love it so much because I love to find out what other people are doing and on these campuses. I mean, it's amazing, you know, it's absolutely amazing.